Welcome to our second module in the e-commerce business. Remember, we're talking about the 6 essential lessons to managing an e-commerce business. Module 2 is called competitive pricing. This is where you're going to probably make some of your biggest mistakes, but it's also where you can make some of your best decisions. In the e-commerce space, the concept of pricing is so dynamic that you can make changes on the fly as opposed to a brick and mortar store. Once you put something in the display and you've put a price on it, that price is pretty static until it goes through your store inventory system. In the e-commerce space, on the other hand, you can change your price by simply changing the number and pressing the upload button or the update button, and suddenly everybody sees the new price. Now, there are a couple of things about competitive pricing that we really need to understand. And as this slide says, online pricing is transparent. So don't cheat. This is where many e-commerce business owners and managers make their biggest mistakes, as I've mentioned before. The internet is such that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. It's awful, yes, I know, but that's just the way it works. Everybody knows each other's business. Here's why. If I am a consumer and I'm looking for a product, I can go to any of 25 or more different places on the internet offering the same thing. For example, I will pick a great example: ink or toner for a printer. If I want to get a competitive price for ink and toner on the internet, I have at least a dozen places I can go and look up the prices. So if I'm looking for the price of an actual, genuine Brother toner for a MFC P7220 printer, I can see the price everywhere from Best Buy all the way to Office Depot, all the way down to Joe Schmo's Ink Emporium. So everything is so transparent on the internet that you don't want to price yourself out of the market. If everybody else is selling that ink, that toner with the cartridge for $44.99, $49.99, $39.99, there is no reason for you to think that you can get away with selling it for $79.99. So please keep that in mind, that pricing on the internet is very competitive, but more importantly, they are very transparent. When you price, you need to price as if you're the buyer. Put yourself in the position of that buyer who wants to pay as little as possible and is willing to scour the internet to find the cheapest price for that particular product that you're selling. You have to understand that people are expecting to pay for your product what it is worth. People will appreciate paying you the price that something is worth and the price that is normal on the internet. There is no faster way to lose a person's trust on the internet than to overprice shipping. There is this thing we call shipping and handling, and people look at it differently from different perspectives, and sometimes it can be the difference between someone being successful and someone not being successful. Here's what I mean by that. There are some people who would sell a particular product that everybody on the internet is selling it for, oh, just pick a number, $150. This person would come along, price the product at not $150, but they'll price the product at $110. and then they'll say shipping and handling is 65 bucks. So suddenly everybody now stops and goes, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. $110 plus $65, that's 100, and they're doing the math, and suddenly they realize that you're trying to rip them off. And guess what they're going to do? They're just going to click and move right on from your product. People lose a lot of business on the internet simply because customers do not like to be cheated, or they do not like to feel as if somebody took advantage of them on the internet. Trust is the thing that builds an e-commerce business. If you're planning to make a sustainable run at an e-commerce business, you better get this thing about product pricing and shipping and handling absolutely correct. Otherwise, you're going to lose customers real quickly. A customer can possibly come back to you if you make some other, even gross mistakes. For example, somebody orders something and you forgot to ship it. And that customer is upset because it's 3 days later, they're expecting to have this product, and it's 3 days late already, and you're just now shipping it out. That's a bad mistake to make, but you can recover from a mistake like that in the e-commerce world. You can do something as egregious as misprinting somebody's address, and their product goes sailing somewhere across another state, probably because of a misprint on the shipping label. You can recover from that, but you overcharge someone for a product or overcharge someone for shipping and handling, you are not going to recover from that because the trust has been lost. There's something to remember about the e-commerce space, and that is many consumers or buyers, if you will, are already skeptical. They're already looking at different websites with skepticism. And if something comes along in which they look at a website or a transaction or a product and they feel, there's something kind of fishy about that, they're going to move on and they're never coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to repeat that. They are never coming back. So please, when you do your shipping and your pricing for shipping and handling, make sure you get those numbers correct. I have this little algebra expression that I have: trust equals honesty and consistency divided by time. So don't become a shipping greed victim, because very often this is what kills people's business. You will never win back that customer if they lose trust in your shipping and handling. And then comes the biggest of disruptors, and that is things can go wrong in shipping, especially when we start to talk about overseas shipping. Overseas shipping is one of those things that it works fine until something happens. This is an example of what happens when something goes wrong. Shipping from overseas and shipping from supply chains that are located overseas come with a certain level of risk. That risk is built into the business generally, and it's usually done so in the form of cheaper prices. If you go on a place like eBay and you see things for sale in the US and they all cost $250, $225, $200, $210, and you see that very same product brand new from China for $94, there's a reason for that. And that is because somebody priced in the risk of either buying that product right here in the United States and I get what I know I'm going to get, versus taking a chance that the container is going to fall off of a ship somewhere across the Pacific Ocean and my product falls off of that ship and now suddenly it's either lost or it needs to be replaced. Those kinds of adjustments are made. And that's the reason why when you go to do online purchasing and you see a product that's coming from China, for example, is priced much less, that's because that risk factor was priced in a negative way to come back with lower cost. And the biggest thing driving that you must understand is the dropping of the cost of international shipping. International shipping has become so competitive that a company overseas can probably price a product a clear 50% below the market price here in the US, and still win that business. Why? Because the shipping piece has now changed dramatically. If you can think of a large vessel leaving a port in China with so many boxes in there that they can now send large amounts of things in one shipping, that changes everything. So overseas shipping is much cheaper, but buyer beware, things can go wrong and they can go wrong fast. So that's it for module number 2, shipping and handling and price transparency. I'll see you on the other side for module number 3.